Yo, just not letting you know, 12K cash collected, 24K coming tomorrow. Should end the week, inshallah, with bare minimum 48K.
Damn, end the week with 48K, chat.
But that's regular for us, right? That's regular for us, right? Some would say your childhood was rough, right? No mom, no dad growing up. But I also look at that as like maturity isn't based on your age, maturity is based on your life experiences. Like the day after I graduated, bro, I went straight into work in a warehouse job. Sometimes we would do whatever it took to, get $5 and get $5 chips from off the
That's
road.
wild.
When I was working inside a warehouse, I noticed a common denominator. Everyone lacked direction. We got to work smarter, not harder, because time is our greatest asset. That's one of the best quotes I've ever heard.
We got a special guest on. This is the first stream, bro. The first stream of Hype Month. Our special guest today is Nelson. He's sitting right here in front of me. I can see him, chat, but you can't see him. He's sitting right in front of me, chat. And every time I check his page, right, everything that you see, it's always about game. It's always about knowledge. It's always about benefiting everyone else around him other than himself, right? Without further ado, look, I'm gonna bring him up. He's muted right now on Zoom. We're gonna bring him up on the new screen, and I want everyone in the chat to go crazy. All right, we're gonna show him. We're gonna show Nelson that this is how we get down, right? So I want you to give fucking fire emojis, everything you got in the chat for Nelson. Let's go. If you got anything to say to start this off, fucking go hard.
Man, let's do it. Let's do it, man. Like you said, this is our first time probably ever having a conversation, on a call. It's going to get the most raw, authentic side of everything. And I appreciate the introduction, man. I appreciate, this is your first time doing something. This is my first time on a stream, and we're gonna run it up, bro. We're gonna
Yeah,
run it up for
sweet.
sure.
All day, brother.
But
Keen.
I'm ready. I'm ready to do it, G. Let's do it.
That's us. That's us. All right. We got some people in the chat. We'll just address some of the people in the chat before I start asking you questions, right? Christians in the chat, let's go.
How
All
we
right,
feeling though? How we feeling, chat? How we feeling, chat?
100%. Where's everyone tuning in from? Where's everyone tuning in from? Naru Wadia? Oh, damn, that's crazy, Dimbo. Oh, Dimbo is coming from home. Crazy. Christian said, oh, bro, this chat is crazy, honestly, especially this Juwan out of it guy. That's crazy. Money's from Brisbane? Tao. Us Elo intro. Alright.
Elo intro. Elo
How do
intro.
you how do you how do you ban people? Oh, it was deep and meaningful.
Yes,
Exactly, chat.
sir.
That's the way we like it, chat. Pause.
Bruh.
We got a lot of time. We'll read the chat since you can read it too, and you're watching the stream on your phone. Then you'll be able to see it as well.
For sure.
Oh, someone in the chat said I'm gonna buy my uncle a new truck. And let's
Wow.
go. Let's go.
I'm in Dubai.
Chat. We're gonna talk about that stuff. We're gonna talk about that.
What belief about success changed everything for you? Ooh.
That's a good question.
Well, at the end of the day, life is what you make it, right? So if you're gonna have a victim mindset, you're gonna go your whole life being a victim. You can go your whole life saying that the world is against you, or you can actually be the person that actually takes over the world, right? There's two types of people. When God gives you lemons, right? What are you gonna do with those lemons? Are you gonna create a lemonade stand, or are you just gonna sell those lemons? There's two outcomes that could come from it. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your mindset, right? It comes down to what that's going to look like because, bro, a lot of people I talk to tell themselves they're going to fail before they even try. Tell themselves, my life happened, this happened to me, why me, why me? But at the end of the day, bro, it's like you're in the position you are in today for a reason, right? And you can either continue to blame yourself for what's keep happening to you, or you can do something about it. The only difference between me and all these successful people that you see is that they do something about it, right? I put on my story yesterday. It's probably the most important thing that everyone needs to know is that you don't need more information, you need execution, right? Everybody wants information. How do you do this? What's the secret recipe, bro? There's no secret recipe but execution.
Let's start off. Let's start off. Look, because Dimbo's just gonna ask you all the questions for the whole stream, and then you're gonna come at him with all these gems. So let's
Yeah,
start.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
start from the beginning though. Let's bring it back to the beginning, right?
for
Like,
sure.
where did you grow up, and what was life like for you before any of like this stuff of business and everything else started? Like, what was it like?
So I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest of eight kids. I'm the youngest of eight. I was whāngai at 4 years old. So if you don't know what whāngai mean, I was pretty much adopted in. some would say I'd had a pretty tough childhood, right? Some would say your childhood was rough, right? No mom, no dad growing up. But I also look at that as like maturity isn't based on your age, maturity is based on your life experiences. So growing up my whole life, I was a lot more mature. I was always hanging around older people just because of life experiences, and a lot of people come to me for that. There's so many pathways you can go down with that life growing up, right? Some people go down a bad direction. I myself was heading towards that direction, right? I myself was heading down bad life, bad people, bad everything until I really just made a switch, man. Like growing up, I used to play heaps of sports. That was my outlet. I was the angry child. Everyone would kind of call me the angry child.
True.
I would always let my emotions get the big of me because obviously going through something like that growing up, I let my emotions take over, and that would be in sports. I
Yep.
succeeded pretty well in sports growing up. I made all the rep teams for footy when I was going through the ranks. I was the biggest sore loser as well. A lot of my family would say I was the biggest sore loser, so I hated losing, hated losing. Started losing in footy. I was good. I was going good. Like, but we just kept losing. So I was like, nah, I want to try something new. At 16, I think, of 16, I gave basketball a shot and got a scholarship to a couple schools after that.
Bro, that's dope.
Then
It's crazy. Sorry to jump in, but that's crazy.
no, you're good. You're good. I had a scholarship for footy as well. Didn't take it. Ended up going to one school for a scholarship. Was there for 3 terms. Ended up going to another school. That's when I went to Marsden for another scholarship. And then that's where like everything kind of changed for me. Was going to Marsden and being surrounded with like you're an athlete at this point. You're at a like high performance school. You're going to be surrounded with high performers, performing athletes. Boys that are in the NRL right now, boys that are making it happen from sports perspective. And the one thing you notice with like athletes is that their mindset's always switched on. So it's like a lot of people that come into like the business side of things, they need to get that mindset switched on, right? They might have all the attributes there, they might have all the skills, but their mindset's whack. So when I went into entrepreneurship or went into business, that mindset was already there, so I just carried it over. It's like I saw this thing earlier. Some people have discipline, other people have hustle. Two completely different things, right? You can see someone with discipline, best shape, best physique, but they just have a really good routine. But when it comes to hustle, they don't got that. They don't got a hustle where, you know what, I'm gonna stay up till 3 a.m. in the morning and get this done because they want to stay in routine because
Bro,
they're
that's the first time I've heard that. Sorry to cut you off, but that's the first time I've heard that, eh? And
it's one of the best things,
hearing
eh?
that, bro, that's crazy. Cause even I listened to that and I thought, damn, I've always got the hustle, but maybe the other side I don't really have it. Some like there's times where I don't have it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then
for
you
sure.
saying that, sorry, it just reminded me of that. I was like, bro, they're two separate things. That's crazy.
100%, bro. 100%. And going back to the story, yeah, look, growing up, some would say it was a rough childhood. I would say is I was blessed to have that childhood. I'm grateful to have that childhood. Next thing, sports was my whole life. So when I graduated high school, I was 16. I was on verge to playing semi-professional sports. So I was so close to signing a contract at that point at 16. I was yet to debut for semi-professional. I was in a trial game. I was training with them, so I was in a train trial. And then injuries hit. Injuries hit after that. Went like the day after I graduated, bro, I went straight into working a warehouse job with
That's
my brother.
crazy, bro. That was actually when I
So
what I was gonna ask you too. Is that was that your first job that you ended up doing that warehouse job, or when was your first real job? Like, oh, I don't want to say real
my
job, but you know what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean.
My first job, bro, was paper running. I don't know if you guys remember boys that used to do paper run,
That's
but
hard.
me and my brother used to do that on the weekends. I didn't even know how we got money, but sometimes we would do whatever it took to, get $5 and get $5 chips running off the
That's
road.
wild, bro. A lot of people like they wouldn't understand that, and sometimes it's a blessing because I read one somewhere that I wish someone said I wish that I could be like a person where I don't think about this stuff and I don't think about wanting a better life
Mm,
for myself and stuff like that because it's a blessing to have that. You know what I mean? Hearing from the stuff
fact.
that you've already said, and we've only just started the stream chat, but hearing from
Yeah.
what you said, it sounds like there's a lot of times where you'd probably look at your life and you think, nah, it's not enough. You know what I mean? I'm not doing enough.
100%, man. I think like I said at the beginning, life is what you make it. So if you're gonna go your whole life like, why me? Why this? Why that? You're just gonna put yourself in a rabbit hole and you're not gonna get out of that rabbit hole. And when I was working inside a warehouse, I noticed a common denominator. I noticed everyone lacked purpose, bro. Everyone lacked direction. And like
Yep.
when I mean direction, it's like I'm sitting next to a man 10, 20, 30 years older than me and we're getting the same pay, right? And they're telling me what they're missing out on. They're telling me I've been here for 10 years, but that's a flex to them. I say, man, how's that a flex, right? 10 years at this one job. I have nothing but respect for people who work hard, but in
100%.
today's day and age, it's like we got to work smarter, not harder, because time is our greatest asset. And if we're going to go our whole life wasting time thinking that, we have more time, I guarantee you, like, the world, the graveyard, for example, is full of men who wish they had more time. That's one of the best quotes I've ever heard. And that is why, like, your time is your greatest asset. And the number one thing I was told is you should learn a skill that can buy your time back. Because if you can buy your time back, you now have the knowledge and the value that you can actually provide out there. Now, people are going to say, what do you mean by time, buying your time back? What do you mean by, equipping your knowledge? Knowledge is power. And the more knowledge you have, the more experience you're gonna have. The more experience you're gonna have, the more opportunities you're gonna get, like being on a live stream with you, bro. Being sponsored by EHP Labs, for example. Little things like these only come when you're knowledgeable enough, when you can actually provide value to people. But
100%.
there's a big thing with us Polynesians, especially of our self-limiting beliefs, because we've been told from like yay high, like this tall, right? You're
Yep.
a dreamer, bro. Stop dreaming so big, right? Be
100%.
realistic. Keep it real. I was always the kid, right, that would say, I can make the NRL, bro. I can make the NBA. Like I can do that. But then I'd get people telling me like, come on, bro, like be realistic. I'm like, if they've done it, why can't I do that?
Yep.
Right? Where everyone goes wrong is like it's who not how. In today's day and age, there's a book out there. It's literally called Who Not How. You find out who's got to where they are. So let's say, for example, you want to make the NBA or you want to make the NRL. You want to go talk to someone who's made the NRL, and they're going to give you the recipe on how they did it. You don't figure out the how, you figure out the who. And that's why when people talk to me, they're like, man, I need to talk to my parents about this. Man, I need to talk to my partner about this. I need to talk to my wife. I ask them one simple question. I say, is your parents respectfully in the position you want to be in? And they say no. And it's like, why should we take advice from them then? All right, respectfully.
He's dropping gems,
And
chat. I'm sorry to jump in, but he's dropping gems. Hey guys, if you're watching right now and you don't have your pen out or something or notes or something, bro, take it out because you're gonna want to take notes. Bro, I'm too excited. I'm just sitting here like smiling. I'm trying to let you talk and just like, yeah, I better just sit here and just let you go because you're on fire right now. And so I'm just like, yeah, you're talking
I
about that
prayed
and you're
for.
like, parents or your partner or the people that you have close to you and you're like, you know,
Mm.
look, basically, if you want to be a rugby player, right? And you're talking to your cousin, right? And your cousin's going, "You're not going to be a rugby player." Has your cousin played in the NRL? If they haven't played in the NRL, have they done anything of that sort of capacity? And they haven't.
Mm.
Okay, why are you listening to them? You can still love people
Fact.
but not take their advice, right? Sorry, bro. I went on a little spasm, but you keep going because this gets me hyped.
100%. I prayed for moments like these, to have moments like these, to be able to speak on my beliefs and my message and my story at the end of the day. So I appreciate you for giving me the platform to be able to do that. Another
Nah, bro.
deep question we can ask ourselves is, if our parents had the opportunity that we had today, would they take it? Would they leave it? And now it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like our parents back in the day, or our family members didn't have the opportunity that we did have today. Majority of our family members come from the islands who then went to New Zealand and then migrated to Australia. There's
Yep.
been a whole process from there to then to then. Now, if you were to tell your parents who gone from Samoa, Tonga to New Zealand, then back to Australia to set up a better future for you, why are you not taking that opportunity? Right? They don't know any better. So we should be able to explain that to them. If you can't explain that to them, knowledge. Knowledge is the only thing that you need to equip yourself with. Knowledge is power. Environment is probably the next most important thing because, man, you're a sum of the five people you hang around. Hang around five smokers, you're going to be the six. Hang around five alcoholics, you're going to be the six. You hang around five successful people, you're going to be the six because you learn their traits, you learn what it takes, you learn all of these little things that's going to matter in the long run, and everything, like, man, I don't want to drop Bible verses, but Ecclesiastes. In Ecclesiastes, they talk about everything is vanity, right? And the more wiser you become, the more you realize that nothing is important other than your relationship with Christ. That's another big lesson. I know where this is question one, and we haven't got
Yeah.
past it, but man,
Go, you're on fire, G. I'm just letting you do your thing, you know what I mean?
I'll finish off what I was trying to say. Working inside a warehouse, everybody lacked purpose. Everyone lacked direction. The moment I found purpose was the moment I found God, right? I grew up Catholic my whole life, but I never really understood my faith that much. It wasn't until I was so purposeless and so directionless that God called me to obviously like find purpose. Now I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm the perfect guy. I will never be perfect, but I know that there's more meaning to life than just money. There's more meaning to life than just everything we see on earth. So
Mm.
that's another blessing that I believe I really want to speak heavily on, but that's another topic. I guess we can go to
Bro,
the
that's
next
dope.
question.
That's dope, bro. I appreciate you for sharing that. Look, after everything that you said, you've answered a lot of questions, right? So I'm just gonna shoot you a random one. People looking into this, right? They would always be thinking like, oh, there's always gonna be hard times, right? And my question to you is like, what was the hardest part in the early days when nothing was really like moving the way that you wanted it to? Yeah, what was that like? Like, how did that affect you, and what was it like?
Man, sounds cliche, but the hardest part is starting at the end of the day. The hardest part is starting itself. And a lot of people
Is
will
it?
tell you that because a lot of people procrastinate on starting in itself when it's the hardest thing, but it's also the easiest thing. Because what you got to remember is that the longest time in the world is the hesitation between thought and action. The longer you think about doing something and not take action on it, the longer you're gonna hate doing it later. What was the hardest thing for me would be starting, but also like I had my back against the wall. Like I was working inside a warehouse. I started university, so I started studying psychology. I was door dashing all at the same time, all trying to learn a skill, all being mentored by someone. Okay? People don't see that. People don't see that I was a DoorDasher at one point, right? I was driving a Honda Accord 2006, bro. Shout out that Honda Accord. That was the best car I ever had, right? So I went down the traditional pathway. I went down that uni pathway. The number one thing that stuck to me, right, that most entrepreneurs or most people talk about is that speed is everything. Why should I wait 4 years for a degree that might not be worth it to get the job that I want to be? A lot of people get a degree or finish their apprenticeship and they don't even want to do that job. For me, I did not want to waste 4 years of my life. I'd rather take as many risks as I can with as many less responsibilities that I have, right? I'm single. I don't have kids. I don't have a mortgage. This is the best time you need to take your risks, right? If you fail, at least you tried, right? The only way you're going to guarantee failure is by not trying.
100%, brother.
The only way, the only way you're going to get what you want is that you need to try. Right? I put on my story earlier. Every successful person is more willing to try than the person that isn't willing to fail. Failure is the most important thing that you need to be successful. Now, can I say this if I didn't fail? Probably not. Can I say this with utmost confidence, utmost conviction in myself? If I didn't go through that process? Probably not. So if you want a different outcome, you need to change your way of thought or you need to change your way of actions. That's the only way you're going to get a different outcome. A lot of people come to me, right? They want more control over their time because they're stuck working that 40-hour gap, 40 to 60 hours. I say, okay, what have you done in order to get control of your time back? And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, so how do you expect to get control of your time if you haven't done anything about it? They're like, really good point. And that's why it's so important to have a mentor guiding you on, okay, you're not second guessing yourself anymore, rather you know what you're doing. Okay. You know what the next step is. Okay, I'm going to equip you with the knowledge. I'm going to equip you with the right environment. I'm going to equip you with all these things. But it's like, let me ask one of the boys, okay, if you want to get a six pack, bro, can I just give you a six pack, right now? Probably not. Why? Because I need to do the work. Okay, but I can provide you the gym though, right? I can provide you all these things, right? But the number one thing I can't guarantee you is your execution to put that into action. So that's the mindset shift that people need to know is like nothing is going to be guaranteed. The only thing that's going to be guaranteed is if you execute. Execution is the key, bro. That answered it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it did. It did. Bro, like, I need some fire emojis in the chat for now. Daz 180 said, because you're so wise, what advice do you have for a really old guy? Lol.
I think like for older people, right? You gotta put your ego aside sometimes. And what I mean by this is that a lot of older generations don't like to listen to younger generation. And if you see a young guy super successful and you're 20, 30 years older than that young guy, I am so putting my ego inside of it saying, how did you do it, bro? Like, how did you get to so quickly? Like, did you invest into someone? Did someone tell you? Or what was the how, pretty much? Because you're getting it from the who. Now, for an older person, your time's limited now. You need to realize as that time is limited and you don't want to get to a point in your life where you really notice, like, man, my time is now super limited. It's like you need to live every day
Yep.
like it's your last day. Every single day like it's your last day. You got to earn it every single day.
I've got these questions here, and we're gonna try and ask however much we can of them. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I feel like the way things are going, it's just you're just on fire. So I feel like, if we don't get to the proper questions and all that, but we end up just having a conversation, and you just end up dropping all these gems in that, especially for everyone in the chat as well, then that's how it's gonna go. But it's the vibe, you know what I mean? And we're just rolling with it.
And I like how it's live and direct, you know what I mean? It's
Yep.
no edited video. It's no boom, 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 boom. It's like, bro, you ask us a question, I'm gonna answer it, and I'm gonna might yap for 10 minutes straight, but
Yep.
you're gonna get the raw and authentic answer. And I think that's the beauty
100,
in
100%, brother. That's the best way to do it.
Chad, if you find a good gem, I want you guys to put on your story and at both of us so we can share that on our page on what your best gem is, just so we can collaborate with you guys. Because at the end of the day, it's the same for us, it's for you guys, and we want to be able to repay you back at the best that we can to our best abilities. So another big thing, like
100%, bro.
a lot of people see me now, right? Confident, handsome young man, right? Before, okay, I was a pretty introverted kid. I would only talk to you if I knew you, if you were my family. I'll be at the kid at the back of the class who wouldn't do work, but he would get it done, you know what I mean? That was the type of kid I was in school. Unless I wanted to do it, right? I used to love HPE. I used to just love sports in general. I had this one teacher. I fell asleep right in front of him one time. Fell asleep. He was talking to me, yapping at my ears. I fell asleep right in front of him. I aced that class. I was the only kid in that class to get an A. And he was so pissed off at me because I wouldn't listen, but I would get it done. And
That's
the thing
crazy.
about the thing about the educational system, right? It teaches you to become a traditional worker. So it teaches you how to remember things. It teaches you how to program your brain to revise things, but it doesn't teach you how to get there quickly. So you have to figure out this is the right working out to get to 2 + 2 = 4. It's silly, right? But you kind of you have to be the black sheep, right? You have to be the black sheep if you want to become someone different. People like to say penguin, but I'm like, yes, there's always going to be a penguin in the family. I would rather be the black sheep in the family. Growing up, a lot of people would say like I was the ticket because of sports. And when that was taken away from me, I had to really check myself and go like, all right, I'm injured right now. Should I feel sorry for myself? No. What's that going to do? Nothing, right? I needed to make a change. So
Bro, what's two,
ultimately,
sorry to jump in, but what's
yeah.
two crucial things that you could share with the chat that sort of put put you away from what you just said? But what's two crucial things that you could share with the chat that could help them if they're going through something similar?
It's at the end of the day, it's going to be purpose and direction. So if you want to become a person, right? If you want to become the person that gives back to your family, does that person feel sorry for themselves when, shit hits the fan? When you hit rock bottom. So it's all about creating an identity, a purpose, and direction. So if you can master those three things, man, everything that you want will come with it, right? You need to figure out the why and then the how will follow. So the
That's hard.
two crucial things would be create an identity of who you want to be, right? Another thing, I used to be a big gamer, right? Everyone that games, GTA, 2K, all of these games, right? You're building a virtual character. You're buying VC, you're buying GTA points. You're getting the cars, you're getting the girls, you're getting the money. Do that in real life. Why are we doing this in a virtual character, right? Why are you building that identity on a virtual character when you have a life to build? The reason why people don't do it is because it's hard. People
Yep.
don't do it because it's hard, but it's easy on a game. The moment I learned that you shouldn't be building a character on a virtual, but you build your character in real life. So that's where the identity comes. So say for example, who's in that situation, who hits rock bottom, your ticket that you've been told for the past 10 years goes away. Ask yourself one question. The person myself in 6 months, right? Who does he look like? What bank account does he have? What physique does he have? What mental does he have? All of these little things matter because you're literally becoming that person today, right? You don't become that person in 6 months. You equip yourself with the right mindset, the right physical, the right attributes, right? It's all about those attributes that you equip yourself with, skills. Ask yourself, would this person feel sorry for himself in 6 months? If the question is no, don't feel sorry for yourself. Do something, execute, take action, do hard shit, and you're gonna get hard things done. And
Bro, that's
that's
wild.
the best thing.
You're just going off right now. I'm listening to you and I'm like, fuck, why didn't I wake up at 6 today? You know what I mean? I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh shit, why didn't I set my alarm at 6 and wake up? So when you first started, right?
Mhm.
In the early days, because you talked
Yeah.
about having you were getting mentored, right? When you were working these you were door dashing and you're working as well at the same time, and
Mhm.
you're in you're studying as well.
Yeah.
Like I know that was ages ago when we were talking
Yeah.
about that, but I'm still buzzing out about it now.
Mm.
You also said that you were getting mentored, right? So
Yeah.
you were getting mentored pretty early on, could you say?
Mhm.
What was that like, and like how much did that help in you and what you were doing?
I think it helped because I had so much on my plate. So a lot of people come to me as well and say, bro, I don't have enough time because I work X amount of times. And I say, well, that's complete bullshit because I was working 40 hours. I was also in university. I was also door dashing. I was also trying to get back into sports at the same time and getting mentored at the same time, right? So a lot of people lack is they don't like more time, they like prioritizing their time, right? In order to get what you want, you need to sacrifice something. So if you work 8 hours and you're going to sleep 8 hours, cut that into 4 hours, you now have 4 hours to work on yourself. The best book I've ever read is Atomic Habits. And the reason why
Good
this
book,
book is so good
good book.
is because it talks about systems. And in order to reach your goals, you need good systems. What are those systems? Those systems are habits. So if you can master your habits, you can master good habits. That's the only thing you can control, right? You can't control you actually getting the goal. The only thing you can control is your systems and your habits. So if you control those things, the goal will happen eventually.
And
Right.
like what's something that most people overlook? Let's say, for example, like start making money online or doing something outside the box. Like what's something
Yeah.
that people overlook with that?
They try to do everything themselves. So they try to be, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do drop shipping, I want to do trading, I want to do streaming, I want to do clipping, I want to do this. It's just like selling, right? You sell to everyone, you sell to no one. You try every business model, you're not going to do any successful, you're not going to be successful in any business. And the number one thing that everyone overlooks is that when you try to do everything by yourself, you're not working for the business, you are the business. And when you become the business, you also become the faults. You also become the flaws in the business. So your attention should be your only focus, right?
Yep.
So if you're wanting to make money, your attention should and focus should only be, okay, I want to make a certain amount of money, but I don't know how. I'm in XYZ position, so I'm working inside a warehouse. This person's figured it out. This person knows how to make money. I'm going to ask him. How did you get to where you are to get to, obviously you were in my position, 2 years ago. How did you get there? And then it's about, okay, he learned skills. What skills? Sales and marketing. Okay, now how do you apply that? Because you look at any business, they need sales and they need marketing. Those are the
Yep.
two most important skills that you need in any sort of business. So you create a demand for a supply that's already there. But you don't know, if you don't know what you're talking about, that trust isn't going to be there. So you need to equip yourself with the right skills, but also be knowledgeable enough on it. Because I see so many people who start out like first week in or first month in, and then they try to sell what they just learned. I'm like, man, you've just learned this, right? There's no way in hell you're going to be able to get someone to trust you enough after 1 month of learning it, okay?
Yep.
You need to go through the tough times. It's not going to be sunshines and rainbows, but what's going to cost you more at the end of the day? Working a job that you don't like for the next 5, 10, 15 years, or working on yourself for 2 hours a day, right, for the next year or so, that could potentially change your life. My life changed in less than 3 months. People think they need 2, 3 years to make a big change. My life changed in 3 months. The reason why it changed is because I had everything against the wall. Working a warehouse job in university. I was door dashing, bro. Door dashing. I was door dashing. Humble beginnings, okay? I was getting mentored about learning skills and upping your skills, upping my attributes, upping my knowledge. And at that point, the number one thing I realized that I lacked was communication. Communication is the best skill that you can learn. And the reason for that is because it's the most transferable skill into the real world. If you can communicate online, you can communicate with your family members, you can communicate with your friends. Because I'm not too sure if many Polynesians grew up, but when you talk to your older parents or your elders in general, you can't talk back to them. It's kind of like disrespectful. I would always start crying whenever I would try, like, no, 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 like I'm not like I would stumble on my words. I was like, and then I'll just start crying, go in my room and then try pack my bags and then try run away. But then it's like it's because I lacked communication. It's because I lacked all of these things. But when I equip myself with the knowledge now, like I've been talking for probably 15 minutes straight. I don't know how long. But beforehand, I could not be able to do that. Beforehand, none of that was possible until I invested into someone to teach me how to, okay, how do you communicate? How do you up your skills in this area? How do you up your skills in that area? Okay, cool. Now I can help people do that because now I'm experiencing, now I'm knowledgeable. Boom,
That's
deal.
crazy, bro.
Done.
That's crazy, and that's crazy that you even brought up like that way of growing up, right? Because
Mm,
even like hearing you say that made me think, oh shit, that's sort of how I grew up too. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It was a bit like lack of communication, and it's not anyone's fault either. It's just that's the way that a lot of us were raised. Chat, check this, right? He brought that up, but he didn't use it as an excuse, because a lot of people would use that as a crutch, right?
Yeah.
And they would use that as, oh yeah, I was raised that way, so you know, I had to do this and do this. Look, all I heard was you bring it up, and then you say, look, I'm not like that anymore, and that's
Fact.
powerful.
I'm ready to run these questions up as much as possible, talk as much game
Yeah,
as
for
I
sure.
can because they deserve it, man.
For sure, bro. Look, we'll throw in one, right? Because we're talking about culturally. I feel like culturally, there's a lot of questions around making money online and stuff like that. Like, especially with Polynesians, right?
Yeah.
Because, look, I love our people, but there's always been a victim mentality that comes out in the way that we communicate and the way that we see each other as well. And
Yeah.
also a bit of a self hatred that gets projected on each other, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you felt it too. I felt it. You go put
100%.
something up, right? You already know, like, we'll sit here and laugh about it. What I wanted to ask you was, there's a lot of people online, right, that would, especially Polynesians, that would mock making money online. You know what? They'll be working their day job and they'll be like, bro, you guys are scammers or this and that. And they throw
Yeah.
around words like that. What do you have to say to all of those people? Not directly to them, but like maybe to people that are hearing those things, right? And they don't really have that mentality, but they're hearing things like that. And it's sort of like weighing in on a decision that they need to make for themselves.
I guess you'll never meet a hater doing better than you. I think that's the number one thing that you kind of need to realize is that you'll never meet a hater doing better than you. And once again, you got to ask yourself the question, if they're in that position, right? Most people that talk shit do jack shit. I saw that one of the boys posted a video about that. You need to realize that they had no better thing to do at that certain time, right? They had no better thing to do other than put a hate comment. People throw around tall poppy syndrome. Your biggest haters is going to be your friends and your family, right? Your biggest supporters are going to be strangers, but you can't control majority of that. So we come back to systems again. We come back to daily habits. You got to understand what is the only thing I can control in this certain situation. If I can help this guy actually understand, okay, what you're saying is wrong, great. But if I can't, that's out of my control. The only thing I can control is, okay, look, bro, you might say this is a scam. You might say this is, typical poly, trying to get me on a Ponzi scheme, trying to get me in a pyramid scheme. Like, you're just a poly fob, bro. And then you look at their profile picture and it's them holding an alcohol bottle and they're maybe 200 kgs. I'm not judging, but I didn't get it.
Just say it how it is, G. Just say it how it is. Okay.
Would I swap my position with someone who's saying that type of message, right? Probably not. And I think we throw around tall poppy syndrome too much because that's not real. It's a made up thing. It is what you make it. I look at it as like, okay, we just lack certain knowledge in this area, right? We just lack a certain understanding in this area. Because when you challenge them and say, what is it? What is a scam? And they're like, oh, I don't know, I don't know. What is a Ponzi scheme? I don't know. What is a pyramid? Okay, you're just throwing these words around without actually understanding what it is. So I would literally not even worry about it because, bro, winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners.
Yeah,
That's the main thing.
100%.
But our culture, unfortunately, we have this victim mindset that you talked about. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, I want you to win, but not more than me. You know what I mean? I'm going back to my uncle as well because I grew up with my auntie and uncle. Didn't grow up with my mom and dad, but my uncle, bro. the hardest worker I've ever met, right? He would be up at 4 a.m. every single morning, right? 4 a.m. to 6 p.m., come home, do that same thing over and over and over again. He's been doing that for 40 years. As me and seeing him as the main man, the breadwinner in the family, I'm like, now that's hard work. Okay. That's hustle. He had to do that for me and my other eight siblings, right? I can either be ungrateful and say, I appreciate it, man. Like, appreciate you for doing that. And play video games and, get drunk every weekend, go out every weekend, or I can repay him in a way where you set the standard for me, right? You set the standard for our family. Ultimately, man, it's like winners focus on winners, losers will focus on winners, and we can't control that. What we can control is if you want to be a winner or loser, right?
Yeah.
Put yourself in those two categories. Then I'm gonna say, okay, you have a victim mindset, you have a loser's mindset because you're focusing on this winner here. Winners are always just gonna focus on winning. They're not gonna worry about you because you're wasting my energy, wasting my time. So
Yep.
I'm just gonna focus on winning. I'm gonna focus on my systems, focus on all of these things, and make sure we can get it going from there. But
Yeah,
man,
mad, bro.
that
Mad.
was a that was some
That
bars
was
in there.
hard. That was hard. I appreciate that answer too, because you killed that. Adding on to that, being a winner yourself, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, what's one hustle story from your journey that really stands out for you enough to like teach you like a big lesson? And what was that lesson for everyone in the chat?
Story. Man, I think I'll go back to high school. So when I was in high school, this is where like real hard work started for me. So I lived in Wynnum, but I went to school in Logan, so Marsden. And it would be a 2 hour train ride to school every single day and 2 hour train ride back. At this point in time, I was on two semi-professional basketball rep teams and I was playing basketball school rep. At that time, I would go to school from Monday to Friday at 4 a.m. in the morning because my uncle would work those ways. So I would be in the gym at 4 a.m. in the morning till 6 a.m. in the morning every single day from Monday to Friday, right? Then we would have a school training Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'll have rep training Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well, and Tuesday, Thursday. So every single day I was training. Kobe Bryant talks about the only way you can outcompete someone is by putting more work in. So Kobe Bryant would wake up at 4 a.m. because another person wake up at 6 a.m. I was putting more reps up than every single person, and that's why that year was my best year, right? I was playing a semi-professional league at 16. I got most improved player because I was the youngest on the team, right? I was playing with grown men at the time. I got most valuable player for my high school at the time. And mind you, we had a player who played state before. He's in the NRL right now, but he's a gun. I think the hustle I got from that was 4 a.m. wake ups, training at 5 a.m. till 7 a.m. and then going to school and then going to school training and then rep training after that.
Was there a lot of challenges like? Because I know like a lot of your friends probably would have been like, bro, like just wake up late, bro. You know what I mean? They're probably just like, bro, why are you doing that? Like, how did you navigate that? And was there ever a time where you thought, this is hard? You know what I mean? This
Mm.
is real hard.
Yeah, I think I didn't really have that to be honest, bro. Like I had all my boys around me saying like, let's all get to the gym at that time. Like let's all
Oh,
get some
crazy.
work in at that time. And I think it comes down to my mentors that I had at that time. So my mentors was my basketball coach and my psychologist at the time. He was a school counselor. So he was a school counselor,
Yep.
but he was my best mate's dad. And I
Oh,
would go
mad.
to him about everything in terms of like what's going on in life and what's happening. He was my main mentor. And they, mind you, he's played NRL, right? And my basketball coach, they've played New Zealand Olympics. So they've done pretty well for
Bro,
themselves. So they set the standard super, super high for us when it comes to working hard, when it comes to putting in that work. And it's like
did that make
the
it easier to listen to them too? Sorry to jump in, bro, but did that make it easier? Because like we talked about before, when you have people there that actually have the proof, have the
yeah,
experience that I've been through this, da da da.
yeah.
When they're telling you stuff and you're listening to them, does it give it like a little bit of an extra kick?
Yeah, because they put heaps of pressure on me to make sure that I was the standard for all the other boys, right? So I was if I've messed up, everyone messed up. If I made a mistake, everyone made a mistake, and that's how we kind of live by. So my mentor at the time would tell me like, I need you to work here, I need you to help this person, I need you to do this and that, and I'm like, got you. So it was good to have good mentors at that time. Good people trying to tell you, I don't care if you score 30 points this game. I care if you help this person help do that. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do now is because I'm helping from what I've learned as, being a school captain, school basketball captain, school leader and all that sort of things. You translate those skills into business, you become a leader. There's two types of leadership. There's transactional leadership and there's transformational leadership. The best leadership you're ever going to do is transformational leadership. You want to help person go from where they are to where they want to be, and it's not about the money, man. It's never about the money. It's always about how can you help that person go from where they are to where they want to be. So for me, I was lucky enough to not have, people saying like just chill, like go sleep or something because we were all like killer mindset, kind of like we're all in and well, if you're in, we're in type of thing. So that
Yeah, dope.
was the type of environment we had there.
Dope, bro. That's hard. Look, I want to let because the chat's just been going off, and they've been asking questions and stuff like that. I want to give the chat a moment to ask. Look, we'll do two questions, right? Two questions. But while we wait for that, I got one more question for you, brother. Look, as I said before, I appreciate you for your time. I appreciate you for coming on, bro. It's like it's actually fired me up too for the month, even more so than I
Yeah.
was. So I'm like, bro, I'm so lucky and blessed that I got to start with Nelson. Bro, I
Yeah.
appreciate you for that. But the question that I want to ask you was, what's the next level for you that you're trying to get to, and like,
hmm
what are you currently working towards? And is there any way that anyone in the chat can support and all that stuff?
Got you. So the next goal for me is pretty much helping as many people as possible. But if you're gonna do vague goals, you're gonna get a vague kind of recipe for that. So I wanted to be specific in my goals so I can get a specific recipe for it. So my goal coming into like the year myself is most importantly, putting God at the center of my life and making sure that He is the reason that we do all of this. Secondly, we'll be helping over 1,000 people, so 1,183 to be exact, start making an income online. And from doing that, I want them to build a culture or build a community where they completely change who they are as a person, right? Not just financially, but physically, mentally. And that's the type of guidance that I want to help with people is your health, you don't realize how important it is until it's taken away from you. I myself put on a bunch of weight when I first got the money because I let the money get to me. The biggest lesson I learned is like that should be your most important thing is focusing on your personal development when developing your mindset, developing your physical, and the financial will follow. The financial should not be the main thing. Your mental, physical, and the person that you want to become is the main thing. So that's the type of guidance that I'm helping people get to in this stage that will get us to good numbers, hopefully, a mil month. If you want to get to a crazy goal, you got to shoot for the stars, man. You got to shoot crazy and beyond your thoughts. If you don't do that, you're holding yourself to a limit. But I'm saying mind over matter. I'm going to keep going. My body's saying stop, 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 stop. My mind's saying keep going, bro. Who's going to carry
Beast.
the boats at the end of the day? Who's going to carry the boats? Who's going to carry the
Beast.
I'm gonna carry them. You know what I mean? So it's like my goals is most importantly putting God at the center of my life and helping 1,183 people in the right direction, becoming more mentally sharp, more physically sharp, and as a byproduct of that, the financial will follow.
Beast, bro. Appreciate you for that. That's a crazy answer. I did say
Yeah.
two questions, but there's a couple good questions in there, and I feel like that's a 180. He said, Nelson, you're a very wise man, but explain how many times do you get shut down before it gets to you, before it gets you down? And I think that's a powerful question too.
Life isn't always linear, so it's not always going to be up, up, up. You're going to go through phases though. So life is a book. It's just what chapter are you in right now, right? If you're in a declining chapter where, nothing's going your way, everything's going downhill, you need to reevaluate and ask yourself, what chapter am I in right now? And what is the next chapter that I need to focus on so it can go up, up, up? If you reach rock bottom, the only way is up. Control the controllable. If you can't control certain things, stop worrying about it. What is going to be the number one high leverage task that I need to do in order to get back on track? Right? Is it my mental? Is it my physical? Or is it my financial? Then you break that down, you identify, okay, these are the problems that I need to solve from 1 to 10. Bro, use ChatGPT. ChatGPT, these are all my problems. Please break it down from priority list to least priority. Look at the first priority one. Okay, boom. That's what I need to attack head on first. And then you chip at it. Chip, 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 chip. All of a sudden, you're in a linear life now.
Beast, bro. Powerful. Appreciate you for that, brother. Well, you got one more, right? Even I want to hear this from you, right?
Mhm.
Monk said, honest question. I've always wanted to start a business or get into business, but I don't know where to start. Any advice?
The best advice for business is where everyone goes wrong is everyone tries to start the business model without learning the business skills that's going to make the business model successful. So, for example, someone who starts ecom or starts trading, they try to learn trading, but they don't learn the business skills that make trading successful. So, what I would do if you wanted to start a business is learn the skills that's required for the business, right? For me, I wanted to learn sales ultimately, so I invested into a mentor to teach me sales. With that same mentorship, I gained marketing to build a personal brand, which is how I got my personal brand to where I am today. And what you understand when it comes to everything, it's yes, in order to make money, you need to invest money. Probably 101. But don't worry about the business model, worry about the business skills. That's where everyone goes wrong. So focus on what business model you want to do first and foremost, and then focus on what business skills do I need to be successful in that business. You're learning the blueprint of how to make that business successful. Once again, it's who, not how, right? You figure out the who and the how will follow. So these are why those two skills are the most important skills, I believe, for any business because you can transfer it into any other business. That's why I learned them, and that's why I do what I do is because a lot of people come to me like, man, I want to learn trading, I want to learn ecom, I want to learn SMMA. I'm like, try do the business model with no business skills and let me know how you go. And they're like, oh, I need to learn the skills. Okay, cool. Here's how we can learn the skills. Here's how I can guide you instead of second guessing yourself. Instead of having, no clue what comes next, I'm telling you, okay, I've gone through the stage. This is what I'll do next. I'm now guiding you, helping you in the right direction and getting to where you want to be. But that sums it up in a brief kind of form, if that makes sense.
Bro, appreciate you, bro. That was
That was a
crazy.
gem. That was a gem. That was a
That was
gem.
a gem.
You're in
I
stream.
mean,
You're in stream.
Yo, what's good, stream?
What's good, bro? What's
yo.
happening?
Yo, just now letting you know, 12K cash collected, 24K coming tomorrow. And yeah, bro, I didn't know you were on stream, but what's up, chat?
Bro, I know you were taking care of everything on that end, but
Wait, how much did he say? How much did he say? Sorry?
so
Repeat it.
oh,
Repeat
do
it.
you want to, bro? You just called me. Bro,
Repeat it.
repeat that for the chat. Repeat that for the chat.
I got you. So 12K cash collected today, just then. We got 24K coming in tomorrow and should end the week, inshallah, with bare minimum 48K.
Damn, end the week with 48K, chat.
But that's regular for us, right? That's regular for us, right? I give you a call back, bro.
Of course, but enjoy, boys, enjoy.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, spam chats, spam W's in chat, spot W in chat.
Bro, that's wild. See, like even that and chat, we're getting the inside scoop. Look, we're
That was
getting the
behind the
inside
scenes,
scoop.
bro.
That's
That was
behind the
behind the
scenes,
scenes.
chat. Chat, if you've ever like, right, you have some good news, right, and you just need to call someone that's on that same wavelength with you and your bro and the
It
rest
was
of your
like
team.
it
It's
was regular.
it's
Yeah,
regular.
it
It's
was.
up.
It wasn't like, oh my gosh, bro, like, whoa, that's crazy. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, so this is like a familiar day
Yep.
of what it's actually like to be helping people. You know what I mean? It's like
Hun-
if you want to become that person, right? You need to know that you're not fixated on all of these crazy things that you used to be fixated on. Like me 2 years ago, bro. If I heard that, bro, I'd be buzzing out. I'll be jumping all over the place. But knowing the person that I've become, it's like, okay, what's next now? So
Yep.
it's always about just, okay, this worked. How can I double X that? Or how can I triple X that?
You
Oh,
know,
I want to drop this gem right now.
hit us with it, chat. Hit us.
It
You ready
you
for
can
it?
never you can't be emotional in this business game or anything, right? What I mean by this is that you're gonna have really, really good moments, you're gonna have really, really low moments. So if you put your emotions in it, when you have really, really high moments like we just spoke about, you're gonna be, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. When you have really, really low moments, you're gonna be like, man, I hate this. I want to give up. I hate this. I hate myself. Like I don't want to do this ever again. But when you take the emotion out of it, when you hit a low moment, say, what's next? What can I control to get to the next level? When you have a really, really high moment, it's like, okay, this is working. How can we double exit now? How can we triple exit now? See how the
Jeez.
victim mindset's gone? Because
Yep.
you took your emotion out of it, you took your feelings out of it. You need to detach from the outcome and focus on the input of what you can do to improve the outcome. And the thing I noticed with a lot of people, right, is with their traits. You notice someone who vapes, right? They're always like, "Where's my vape? Where's my vape? Where's
Yeah.
my vape?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's my vape?" Right? The same thing happens when something really good happens. It's like, yes, 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 yes. Oh, and then the dopamine goes down. It's like, oh, like I hate myself, hate myself. You know, I'm victim, 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 victim. So it's all about the mindset, man. It's all about the
Bro,
person and the identity, man. That was something I really wanted
that's
to drop.
That's
Someone just said
crazy,
yes.
Jim, brother. I appreciate you for sharing that. I appreciate you for your time, bro. And Mark, like I said, I'm gonna keep repeating it. This has set the bar. This has really
But
set the bar. And I don't know how the next. Look, I'm excited for the next streams for Hype Month. If you're watching now, Hype Month, we're gonna have a special guest every day. And Nelson was the first guest for the month, bro. I appreciate you so much. Is there anything that you want to say, finally before we end the stream and um, you know, say bye to the chat?
I think first and foremost, appreciate you for having me on, bro. I appreciate
It's all good.
for letting me have the platform to speak my mind, speak my gems, and all praise and glory to God. Secondly, I think, man, if anyone is out there super young, super ambitious, just know that your time is your biggest asset. So if your time is your biggest asset, you need to utilize your time as much as possible, right? If you're in your 18s to 25-year-olds, you need to learn skills that's going to build the life that you want to live. In order to do that, right, the best skill that I guarantee every successful person is going to tell you is going to be sales, right? No matter what it is going to be, sales is going to be the number one foundational skill to be successful in any business. Not just business, but in real life as well. Because now you can carry on your conversations just like I'm having right now into real life. I can't do that if I never learned sales, if I never got conviction in myself, confidence in myself. But you need to develop that feeling though. You need to develop that character, right? So it's identity, purpose, and direction. Those are the three things you need to focus on. Clear focus on who you want to become, your identity. Clear focus on your purpose, on why you're doing it, and clear direction on where you want to be and how you're going to do that. Remember, it's who, not how. And winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. Please remember that. A big W's in the chat.
Dubs in
Big
that chat. Let's go.
big shout out for stream. Big shout out everything, man. We're gonna get
Extreme.
some.
Appreciate you so much, brother, for your time and for jumping on. Like I said before, I appreciate you, bro, for coming on and blessing the chat, blessing me, and bro, with everything that's coming next. I know that you got support from me, but also from the chat as well.
I'm
Let's
excited
go.
for Hype Month. I'm excited for everyone else that's gonna be tuning in, bro. Gonna be showing my love and making sure that everyone's tapped in, bro, because this was a good standard for everything and we're ready to take over, bro. Let's go.
100%. All right, appreciate you, brother. All right,
I
I'm gonna
love
end the
you.
stream and I'm gonna close the stream out. See you
Yes,
later,
sir.
bro. Thank you for your
Later, bye.
time. See you later, bro. That was crazy. You guys had some really good questions too. I'm sorry we couldn't go through all the questions as they were going. Like I said, he was on it. He was on it. He was just boom, boom, boom. So I didn't want to jump in. I didn't want to get in the middle of the flow. I'm gonna replay the stream just to write down these gems, bro. Monks, it's crazy. It's a good idea. Chat. That was the first Hype Month stream. The first Hype Month stream, chat.